Hi, I'm Ali Porti, fashion and lifestyle journalist and editor of Zayla magazine. I've always been interested in biographies and in the stories of people's lives, basically listening to what stirs their souls. Welcome to the soulful side of life, where I let you in on some of my conversations with inspiring people from around the world in fashion, faith, entertainment, music, and entrepreneurship. These are conversations that stir the soul about people's journeys, about the ups and downs of life, and how they have overcome certain situations. I hope that these episodes will inspire your life in some way, so enjoy over a cup of something hot or on your drive to work. This is The Soulful Side of Life and can be found on Spotify Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. Born and raised in Colombia, Sebastian Norena arrived to the U.S. as a young adult where he pursued a degree in business in Miami and later certification in hotel real estate development and asset management from Cornell University. While studying business, he began his career in the hospitality industry, working his way up from entry-level positions to management, corporate, and executive roles. By working his way up the company ladder, Sebastian has brought a deep understanding and empathy for every aspect and role of the industry and business. His body of work now includes experiences in both major cities and international markets to generate successful and impactful brand messaging and revenue driving initiatives for his employers and portfolio of clients. Sebastian's first career break started as operations manager for Nikki Beach Worldwide, where he worked with top-tier celebrities and strategic brand partners. He also executed international fashion shows, experiential events, pop-ups at the world's most prestigious festivals and events, launches, and branded events to create strong brand retention and drive profits and exposure for the hotel brand. From Nikki Beach Worldwide, Sebastian moved to the Butter Group in New York City, where he quickly proved himself as an invaluable asset and was named Director of Special Events, producing events at Coachella, Paris Fashion Week, the KIP Film Festival, the Tribeca Film Festival, Art Basel Miami, amfAR Gala after parties, and Rihanna's Fenty New York Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week official after parties. Industry leaders have sought out Sebastian, asking him to spearhead their projects and consult on a variety of branding and event-based projects, which led to the birth of KIP Hospitality, where he has worked with Mercedes Benz and the Academy Awards, scouting the talent for their events and flying celebrities such as Mase, Gerber, Paris Hilton, and Wycliff. Sebastian understands how to create experiences that leave a mark. The experiences that he produces, and he prefers to call them experiences, not events, resonate with consumers, media, and attendees that in turn create long-term returns and retention. So enjoy this podcast episode with Sebastian. He's a really nice guy. He's a really hard worker. He always has a positive attitude. And yeah, it was just a joy to sit down and chat with him to hear about his journey and to find out some nuggets of wisdom on how the hospitality industry works. So Sebastian, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me, Ali. It's always a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, for me as well. So I want to just interview you and talk to you about the work that you do in event producing. I think it's really cool, and you're more than just like a wedding planner or I don't know, planning some event in a ballroom in a hotel. What you do is quite niche, and I just want to find out like how'd you get into it and how do you handle the pressure of planning these high profile events. But before jumping into that, you're from Colombia, and did growing up there contribute to the work that you do now producing events?
So, hi, Ali. Yeah, so my life in Colombia had nothing to do with what I do or who I am right now. I come from a very small city up in the mountains in the center of Colombia called Pereira.
Okay.
And my family was never associated or related to food and beverage. My mom and my dad, they went to university economy, actually,
Okay.
and business. And I didn't have any influence on me, or it didn't occur to me that I will ever be an operation manager or a business development or event producer ever in my life until I really got into the United States and started seeing the opportunities and the opportunities for entrepreneurship in a country like this. So yeah, I would love to say that Colombia inspired me or that my family inspired me, but really they had nothing to do with me. As a matter of fact, I don't really think they still understand fully what I do. I still they wonder. They look at my Instagram. They're like, "What is that event? What were you doing there? Why are you in Paris and why are you now in Italy?" Still,
I
they
see.
wonder what I actually do in my life.
You probably got from them like business, or would you say any kind of business skills because they focused on like economics? Would you say, or no, not even that?
Not even that. They are very uh, pretty much and third world countries a little different. So you're very structured with what you do. There's not that much opportunity for entrepreneurship, so they were very just focused on their jobs, on their careers with their companies.
Uh,
So they gave me everything that I've done in my life when it comes to my professional life. It was just a creation journey that started the minute I left Colombia and the minute I came into the United States and saw other opportunities and saw how other people have been successful here on their own.
I
But
see.
I'm very thankful for my mom and my dad. They raised me as a very good person, as a very good human being. They give me the foundation to be a good person. But when it comes to my professional life, they didn't afford anything. I will say they still don't understand what I do.
Gotcha, gotcha. I noticed that Colombians are hard workers. I had a few friends from Colombia in Berlin when I lived there, and it's something that I also see in you. Why are Colombians known for their work ethic?
Thank you for acknowledging my hard work. Not a lot of people do.
Oh.
I think it's part of history. In Colombia, you have to work really hard to have a decent life, and it's I wouldn't say it's just Colombia. It's a lot of South American countries, a lot of Southeast Asian countries, and Southeast Asia also like Philippines. People
Hmm.
work really hard. Well, I think it's something that I wouldn't have to say it's culture more is like survival skills that you're born with, and then you see it on a day to day life, or how hard people have to work, and how you're not afraid to work hard, and how you're not afraid to take two jobs, three jobs, pull 48-hour shifts, 72-hour shifts if necessary. I think it's more of some survival skill that you learn as you see it day by day, and I just see it as a sometimes for some people, and you see it like so close to you that you become to it, and it becomes your normal. Where like working two jobs or three jobs is not something out of the common. It's just what you have to do sometimes.
Right, to survive. I see. How often do you get back to Colombia to
I
visit?
visit Colombia twice a year since my daughter was born because I really want her to understand her roots
Yes.
before it's a year. But now that my daughter was born, I try to go two times, sometimes even three times, because I found it extremely important for my daughter to understand her roots, that she's half Colombian and that she has a family there. My entire family is there. I'm here by myself. My wife is not from the States, she's from Sweden. So we don't have any family in the United States. So I like to, since my daughter was born, I like to go there two times. Sometimes, if I have the choice, three times. And it's more to show my daughter the culture and what a beautiful country it is and how difficult it is. And now that she's a little older, I started to show her how fortunate she is to live in the United States and to live the life that we have, because no everywhere and no everybody else in the world lives like that.
Right, of course. It's become quite the tourist destination. Why should people visit Colombia? Is it safe?
It is safe. People should definitely visit Colombia. It's one of the most destinations in South America. All South America is beautiful. Mm-hmm. What I like about Colombia is the biodiversity. Since I was very little, I really like hiking. Mm-hmm. I like looking at different. We have the most species of birds, for example. We different climates. So when I start my hikes, we start in a valley, then we go into the rainforest, and then we go through a glacier, and we do like 60,000, 17,000 feet above sea level hikes, which are beautiful. And on these hikes, you're looking at the different climates, and within seconds, in less than a minute, you see the difference of the climate change. You see the difference of the animals, of the plants, of the vegetation, how it changes. So you have all these opportunities. Unfortunately, Colombia is only known in tourism for the ocean side, for the seaside. We have the Caribbean, we have access to the Pacific, but there's so much more to explore in Colombia, like the mountains, and it's so beautiful. And you don't have to be like a hardcore mountaineer like me to enjoy these things. Anyone in any shape could go there and do a short hike for 30 minutes, for 15 minutes, or you can just horseback riding and really get to know the country for a lot of more beautiful things than just the sea or the ocean or the coast. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of culture. There's a lot of places where you can still see when they are natives. South Americans used to live there, what they left. You can see the similarities that we have, for example, with some of the things that they made and back in the day with things that you will see in Asia, for example, is something that I'm very curious. If you go to Peru, for example, or to Chile, you will see like the Indians, the natives there, that there's so many similarities with Asia, and it makes you wonder how the culture was so close back then with Asia, and now it's so different. So there's a lot of things to explore in Colombia, and I'm happy. I hope this podcast touches a lot of people, and I'm happy to answer questions, and I'm happy to give a suggestion list of places to. I would love to have my email address or my Instagram or LinkedIn, and if anyone is interested in going in Colombia, I'll be more than happy to make a suggestion. For me, it's very easy. It's a copy and paste list that I have that I give to everyone. So it's not like I'm going to spend too much time on it. Yeah. But and it's a very safe country to visit. And there's a lot of things to explore besides in Santa Marta or Medellin.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, your lists are very helpful. I can attest to your New York City list.
Exactly, and that was just a copy and paste because I'm ready for people when people ask me, like since I'm in hospitality auction, so a lot of people always ask me what are the places to go in this country, in this area, and I kind of have this list ready for everyone.
Yeah, awesome. I'll probably at some point come to you for that Colombia list. Okay, so when you came to the US, you arrived in California to perfect your English. Did you enjoy life there, and what led you to migrate over to New York City?
So I wouldn't say to perfect my English. I will say to actually learn English.
Okay.
When I came to the States, I didn't speak a word of English. I remember being at the airport, and yes, back in the 80s and the 90s, school, we will learn some basic English, but it was literally like, hi, how are you? You wouldn't go past that. So I came to the United States without knowing any English, and I went to an ESL program, which is English as a second language, in California, where we studied for 8 hours, 5 days a week, English. And it was very beneficial because we did a lot of reading comprehension and writing. So you really understand and you really know how to write and read proper English and how to analyze articles, essays, and how to properly write. And the listening and the vocabulary is just something that you do day to day, and it's more up to you how much time you want to spend with Native American speakers, or do you want to spend your time with people from your own country or people who speak your own language. So I really dive into the culture of the United States. I remember I started watching a lot back then, 2020. I don't know why, for some reason, I just love the show. And I learned English from watching this show every day. John Stossel, who I actually became very good friends later on in life. I met him in New York playing beach volleyball, and we became friends. But I used to watch him, his journalism, and he inspired me to learn English, the way, the vocabulary, the way they pronounce. I was 17 years old when this happened after high school, so I didn't lose my accent. I kept my accent. That's 16, 15, 16, 17 is the age where you either keep your accent or you actually adopt a new American accent or a British accent, whether you're learning English. I'm very proud of my accent. I never got rid of it. My accent just stick around. But learning English was interesting for me because it was not about just learning the language. It was about culture, observing how the United States worked, observing the amount of opportunities that were in this country. I fell in love with the country. After I finished my studies in English, I went back to Colombia. I had to pass a test called TOEFL. And with this test, basically, is the minimum level of English that you will need to take credits, university credits in English. And when I went to Colombia, my first semester, I realized I don't want to be back in Colombia. And things were a little dangerous. We're talking about the year 1999. It was a better decision for me to come back to the States and start my here in the United States. So again, to resume the question is, it wasn't not about just learning English in the United States. It was about observing the culture and falling in love with the country and looking at the amount of opportunities that you will have here versus in Colombia.
I see. Okay. And how did you get into hospitality?
When I came back to the United States, I was based in Miami, Miami-Dade College, Wilson campus, which is the downtown campus. We're talking, again, 1999, year 2000. It was very dangerous also in Miami, especially downtown. It's not what downtown is nowadays. I wasn't very happy because I didn't have the proper college experience that everyone dreams or talks about. Mine was that at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., it was dangerous. And most of the students back then were like, everybody's pretty much over 30, 35 years old. Back then I was 19, 20 years old. So I got a part-time job. And with this part-time job, I started as a barback, and which means the person who restocks the bar, the ice, the glasses, cuts the limes, the garnish, checks on the bartenders because they need anything. And that was my first job in hospitality. And I was working at this place called Nikki Beach, which was probably the most successful operation in 1999, 2000, 2001 in the world. Nikki Beach, Miami, South Beach. When it comes to revenue, when it comes to in hospitality, they were pioneers on beach bars, on beach clubs. When it comes to music and culture and music, they definitely were doing a great job. And I was very lucky to get a job as a barback. One of the things that I always done in life is that I always like to observe and be a sponge and see what can I learn from all my environment, what everything is around me. So being a barback put me in a great position because I could see everything and I could understand how the business model was. And I could understand that I could do more things than just being a barback. And I started just doing things that were not in my job description. Like there was this young man, his name is Bruce Hanrahan. He was the bar manager. That was his job title, but I would call him, he was the director of operations. And I started helping him. He took me under his wing, and we'll do the liquor inventories. We'll organize the liquor room. We make sure that all the bars were clean. We'll make sure that we'll get all the numbers for the schedules for all the employees. Again, we're talking about 1998, 1999, where we have flip. We didn't have an iPhone. So simple things that right now seem like, okay, that wasn't that big of a deal. But again, they were kind of a big deal to structure and be organized like that when they didn't have the tools. So from barback, I went to bartender. And from bartender, I went to VIP host. Then I was a floor manager. Then I was a project manager in Atlantic City, and the company started expanding, and I started like working on this operation operational jobs that needed to be fulfilled by someone who was hungry like me, for someone who wanted to learn, and somebody who wanted to work hard. So that was how it started in the hospitality, from a bar back to a bartender to a VIP host to a floor manager to a project manager to general manager, and the list. And from there, I started my career. So what I didn't learn in college, because I had to quit college so I could take this job as a full time job. I did not learn it through my 11 years in my career with Nikki Beach.
Yeah. Wow. It's probably like it's amazing like how a person's journey in an industry unfolds because you started small and worked your way up and now you do more high profiled things. Like what do you have to say towards like the journey of small beginnings and being grateful and just learning in the small things like a bar back so that you could maybe one day handle the big things?
It was it was for me always giving my 100%.
Yeah.
And friends back very young, that I remember there was a friend of mine who used to play volleyball, and she was going for her master's at UM, and I was just a barback, and she would tell me like, Sebastian, why are you always so stressed out about your job? You're just a barback. And she was getting her master's, and I'm like, I just really enjoy it and I like it. So I always give my 100%. And the first opportunity that was given in this luxury world was by Mike Penrod, the son of Jack Penrod, who was the owner of Nikki Beach. He took me to La Jolla at a very, very young age. I was barely 21 years old, to do a pop-up at I believe it was the Ritz-Carlton La Jolla or the Four Seasons. And they wanted to recreate a little Nikki Beach there. This was year 2001. And even though I was a barback, and even though there was probably 150 employees in Nikki Beach, he chose me to go with him because he knew I would work hard, I would present myself well, I was well spoken, and he took me out of all these employees, and it was it was very rewarding that my hard work paid off. So since I was little, I think since I was young, it's just it's just about working hard for these things to actually pay off. It doesn't matter how small the job is. It doesn't matter how the world looked at it as something insignificant, as a barback. It's just, if you're proud of what you do, if you give your 100%, things will go well in life. And that has been my experience since I was 18 years old. Everything that I put my heart into it, sports, my career, my personal life, is being rewarding at the end. So there's no such thing as starting small. There's no such doing big things. I think as long as you do everything with heart and with 100% putting your effort, it always pay off, and it always set up whatever your goal is. Or sometimes, like in my position, this was never my goal to be living in New York City and be married, but life took me here because of my hard work, and is very happy with my life. And it would have never happened if I didn't work hard. I had other places where I wanted to be when I was younger, at my age. But life took me here because of the hard work and the rewards, and a lot of people who trusted me in my journey, and who gave me opportunities, and who didn't judge me because back then I didn't perfect English, or because the way I look or anything. They just really judged me and gave me the opportunities, and it took me where I am right now, which is producing some of the most influential events in the world, working with some of the most influential people in the world, having access to the most influential people in the world, and having the opportunity to talk to these people on a personal level and ask them questions and have a one-on-one conversations with people that someone will dream of, to have a meeting with this person. And for me, where I am right now in my life is something that I do, that I work with, and I'm very proud of. But it was the result of a lot of hard work.
What are some of the large international events you've gone to, and then you've like maybe produced smaller events around those larger events?
So later on my life, I met Rishi Kiva, who was a big influence on my life, and he helped me a lot. And we started producing, attending, or doing hospitality, or doing talent buying, or hosting events around Coachella, the KIP Film Festival, the after party for amfAR. We do Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Art Basel Miami, also done. We did for a few years. We did Formula One in Abu Dhabi. Now we did. Richie did by himself Vegas. I helped him with the logistics personally there. I did by myself 2 events I had with the talent buying in Sweden, in Boston, during the tennis tournament, which is something that I love. I love Sweden. And we have also a lot of things in the south of France and the south of Italy right now. So I have one that was one of my favorite events. We helped Leonardo DiCaprio with the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, the last Gala that he did. I believe it was the year 2017 in Saint Tropez. Probably one of the best events I ever attended or being involved, even though I was involved in a very, very small scale. But some of the events that I have done, also with Nikki Beach. Back then, I was able to, with Honduras, with the government, we did a pop-up activation to promote tourism in Honduras. I did a model beach volleyball tournament for 3 years in Miami. And we did, I told you, in La Jolla in California. That was very meaningful because it was my first event in the world. And yeah, those are some of the events that I done worldwide. Oh, and I lived in Thailand for 1 year when I was, and we did 2 concerts in Nikki Beach, which I know it sounds a little easy, like it's not a big deal, but to produce in an isolated island like Koh Samui is a very challenging and difficult task.
I can imagine. Like it's hard to get like things in, like vendors, and is that what makes
Exactly.
it hard?
Logistically,
Okay.
yeah. So I will say that there's 3 sides of the operational of the I have to do to put an event in a place like Cosmo. The first one is like, how do you get your vendors and how do you get your staging, sound, and everything into the island? Maybe things are different now, but when I was there in 2011, we have to bring everything from inland. Second thing is, how do you sell these tickets and how do you get enough people to be interested in an event? I believe the population of Cozumel in 2011 was 50,000 people. So it's a very small island as it is. And you still need to get 4,000 to 5,000 people interested in this concert. And the third part is, how do you get the talent to trust you and to believe in you to come and do a concert where it's never been done before? And do you tell them, like, and for someone who's never done a concert before, and now you're doing a concert in Saudi Island, how do you make sure that the talent trusts you and gives you, okay, you know what, we're gonna do the concert with you, and we're gonna put our faith in you. Please make sure you produce and sell the concert, because you don't want artists to come to an empty stage. You want to make sure that they have a great time and they fit from the crowd. So with those 3 different tasks will make it difficult, but we had a very, very successful event. I met one of my very good friends now. We did the talent was Titanium, is a hip hop band from Bangkok. And I was one of the lead singers from Titanium, and I became very good friends. He lives in Bangkok now. And I was like, you know, the first step of our friendship. And we still talk about 2 or 3 times a year.
That's cool. What are some of the things you have to keep in mind when producing events for notable names versus if it's like a non-celebrity event?
So when it comes to event production, everything pretty much comes. And there's a few things that are different. For example, if you're an event producer, you should have very good attention to detail. You should have sense of urgency. You should be very hospitable and know how to troubleshoot, know how to prioritize your problems. So these are the things that in general, from a non-celebrity or a celebrity event, whatever I'm planning, a Sweet 16 or my daughter's birthday, or Leonardo, a big gala. These are the things in common. Two things that I noticed that are very important when it comes to events or when being a part of an event, when it's celebrity, is honesty. There are a lot of times that you get a lot of money for different things. Can you get this person in? Can you get that? Can you get this information? We're talking about like significance that in my position I wouldn't say it will change my life, but will definitely put me in a much better position financially when you get over $50,000, $100,000 for a small favor like getting someone in. So honesty is one of them. At the end of the day, everything always, the truth always comes out. Whatever it is, the week after the event, 6 weeks after the event, a year after the event, or 10 years after the event, the truth will always come out. And this is why it's very difficult. And this is why so many celebrity managers always call me and say like, hey, we have this situation, we have this event, will you come and do it? Do they have many other people who might be better than me, who could do a better job than me to do the job? Yes. But one of the reasons why they call me is because they know that I'm honest, that I will never money, bribes, or I will never give up information that shouldn't be given to anybody else. Those are the two things that I think are different with a high-end celebrity event and a non-celebrity event. Number one, honesty, to make sure that you're not going to be making money on the side and the teams are going to be transparent, you're a honest person. And the other one is to make sure that you're not giving information and you're not talking. You're there. You should be invisible and you should be mute. You're a non-speaking world and you're invisible when you are at these events. You shouldn't talk. Nothing should come out of information should be leaked to anyone else. And it should be something very, very organic where I'm not even supposed to be there, but I'm there to handle the logistics.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're invisible, but you're there making sure
Correct.
everything is functioning well. Yeah. So you've been in New York City a while now. How would you describe the hospitality industry? I know a lot has changed since COVID.
Correct. I think COVID changed the entire world. And I don't know about any other industries, but definitely the hospitality industry changed a lot. I see we can talk for days about the different impact of COVID, but I'm going to talk about the ones that are most impactful because I think comes to the financial position of a place to operate. When these places don't have the revenue that they used to have, this food and beverage, these hospitality companies suffer. The alcohol consumption, in my opinion, decreased completely because they're more aware of wellness. The group of people that would love to be out until 5, 6, 7 in the morning and at night and be sleeping the day after or go to another party starting at 11 a.m. and party for 2 days in a row, these people became more fans of brands like Dog Pound, Barry's Boot Camp, or they discovered running. And they would rather go until like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, so they can go to take a 7 a.m., 8 a.m. spin class, Pilates class, Barry's class, or go with their personal trainer. So one of the things that COVID, in my opinion, changed was the perception of prioritizing nightlife over wellness. And I don't know if it's the new generation, but I also notice this also on my generation and the older generation, that people prioritize wellness a lot more. And that means that there's a decrease on alcohol consumption, which has the domino effect on how hospitality companies operate. Because the profits that you really make in food and beverage are more from the beverage, from the food. The cost of goods on food are too high. The labor for food is too high. The cost of goods on alcohol, especially when you do bottle service, and the labor on an operation that is surviving of liquor is a much higher profit. So these places suffer a lot for that. That's number one. That's my first thing that in my opinion, changed a lot from COVID. Number two, that trend where people don't like to go to nightclubs that much anymore. Prefer to go to restaurants that have a nice atmosphere where they can dance, they can sing, they can listen to recognizable music, and they can be done and go home until 1, 2 in the morning. So this also changed the business model. What it used to be before COVID, a successful model is a club that was open until 4 in the morning. Now what is successful nowadays is a restaurant with a very good atmosphere where you can go, people watch, have a good culinary experience, which is still very important, and a good entertainment experience. So that's another thing that changed. And the other thing that changed a lot was the trend in New York City where people don't want to party in Manhattan anymore. I've been living in New York City since 2005, and people want to party in Brooklyn. And it just changed the whole dynamics of going out. How people want to now, if you're young, if you're 20s and you want to move to the city, now you prefer to live in Brooklyn and not in Manhattan because let's going back to reality, like you're a young person and you want to enjoy nightlife in New York City. So that's another trend that changed a lot after the pandemic. The amount of places, successful places, great places that open in Brooklyn, and they're doing an amazing job. But in 2005, I would never thought that Bushwick or Williamsburg will have so many cool bars, so many cool places, speakeasies, nightclubs, smoke clubs, big experiences like tech support, for example, which I work with, that we do 5,000-10,000 people for a show. And these things never existed in 2005, and they become more common, and the trend went into going to party in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And the last thing that I guess I can talk about this all day about the differences, but the last thing I would like to is how the restaurants stepped up and they're doing a great job with providing a much better experience. Before, the restaurants were, I wouldn't say they were boring, but they were just not as nice as what they are right now. Like, you will go to a place because they have good food, but you have a terrible ambience. Or you go to a place because of ambience, but the food was terrible. Most restaurants, hospitality groups step up and they do a very decent job when it comes to providing a very good product, a very good food experience, culinary experience, and also providing you with a very nice environment so you can be around people and feel like you don't have to go to a club anymore.
I see. Wow. And it's probably that way in a lot of big cities in the US. Like, the hospitality industry has shifted in some ways with nicer restaurants and people focusing on health and wellness. So then it's probably not wise to open a nightclub now in 2025, maybe to open a wellness hotel, would you say?
No, I wouldn't say that. I will say to you, there is New York City is, we have 11 here. I think and these 11 million people that live here have, compared to the rest of the world, a pretty high, the income quality is pretty high compared to the rest of the world. So I think any business you open in New York City, if you try to capture a small amount of those 11 million people, you're going to be successful. So I wouldn't say necessarily they are not bad investment, or is it also a bad time to open a nightclub that people in wellness hotels now instead. I wouldn't say that necessarily. I will have to say that you have to be more careful. What a lot of nightclubs did, and they still do right now in the present, and the reason why people don't like nightclubs anymore is because they have this formula that is a copy and paste, and every nightclub does it, which they hired a promotional group, they hired promoters, and they brand the night with the promoter or the DJ, and that's it. They don't have organic marketing. Organic marketing is something that they'll make you go to a club, not because a promoter is there, not because a big name is there, because there's something that you feel attached and something that belongs to you, that you think you belong to. So if my advice is, like, people are going to open a nightclub, don't do the same copy and paste formula. Try to come out with new ideas. Try to come out with how can we get people here. And I think some of the places in Brooklyn are doing it. And I've seen a lot of other concepts also that are no nightclubs doing it, where they bring people without the same formula and they're very successful financially. So there's always ways. We have to adapt to the times in business. and there's always a way to make your nightclub idea successful, is all copy and paste formula of opening a nightclub that everybody was doing for the last 10 years. It doesn't work anymore. I don't think these places are fun. I don't think people go there and actually have a good time. I think they go more for to make sure that there's a picture taken or an Instagram post or reel or a TikTok. And there's no more of that organic of like, I went there and had a great time and I didn't feel the need to have my phone out 30 to 40% of the night to take videos.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, a few last questions. When it's an economic downturn, how does the hospitality industry suffer? Like, and how do you navigate and still making a living?
So a perfect example was 2009. Uh, we had a financial crisis that started with, I believe, Benz was the first financial company that went down.
Yeah.
Back then, I was managing in Midtown, and I would say 60 to 70%, 60% came from private events, and most of these private events came from financial companies. In 2008, 2009, we had a huge crisis, and we have to cancel all our events. 60% of our revenue was pretty much gone, and we have to reinvent the wheel. Like, what do we do now? One of the things that most people in hospitality have in common is that we are able to navigate through problems and we're able to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? You your efforts into your happy hour business to make sure that you try to make up for that revenue, or that you lower your cost on entertainment, and then you open maybe one more night if you have to, so you can recreate that, you can generate that revenue that you're missing. So it's very difficult. It 100% affects us directly when there's an economic crisis, when the stock market has a bad day, week, or month. We are directly impacted. The reservations are lower. If we do have reservations, the spends per person are much lower. And that doesn't mean that our labor gets lower. It doesn't mean the cost of goods get lower. It just means that it becomes more and more difficult to stay afloat and to operate the business. But again, resilience, I will say, is the common denominator of people who've been in hospitality for 10 or more years. We are used to deal with situations like this, and we're used to manage and stay afloat out of some of the most difficult situations ever.
Gotcha. Yeah, you have to be, I guess, resourceful in knowing how to navigate COVIDs or economic downturns. So how important is it to have a life partner that understands what, like people who do what you do, to be able to, just adjust or accept, like there's nights that you probably come in really late. How important is it to have a life partner that gets it and understands it?
In my opinion and in my experience, it's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be here where I am if it wasn't for my wife. She totally she supports what I do. We had the first 5-6 years we were married were very difficult. When we met, it was very difficult. I was working a lot, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. And it's very difficult to have who understands that. And especially when you're coming home at 6, 7 a.m., 5 or 6 nights a week. And then when I move into my new role, I'll have to, let's say if I had a celebrity who will call me, my phone is on 24/7. Let's say if I had a celebrity texting me at 1:30 in the morning, 1:15 in the morning, like, hey, I'm in the city, I want to go out. Then I have to roll out of bed at 1:15 in the morning and meet this person and take them to make a good experience. So it's very difficult to find someone who's going to understand the lifestyle, and it comes down to trust. That, my wife 100% trusts me. I trust her 100%. So that mutual trust about each other has been a very, very influential in making sure that I'm successful in my business. Sometimes I have to travel for 7 days, 10 days. There was one time that I remember Richie and we had Paris Fashion Week. Then we have the opening of One Oak in Dubai. We were going traveling for like 3 weeks, and it's very hard to find a partner that's gonna understand that you're traveling the world, uh, doing events, attending events until late night in the evening, and that person's still gonna trust me that I'm gonna make the right judgment decisions, and then I'm failed, and I'm going to be faithful to her. So it's extremely important, and my wife Rebecca, I owe everything I am and everything I have right now to her. She's the one all the decisions. She's the one who makes all the decisions when it comes to like do a change of career or how should we do this. She's the one behind every single move that I make, and she's the one who helps me with a lot of the events that nobody sees that. But like for example, when I mentioned like one of the things that you need to have as an event producer or operation person is attention to detail. I'm not very good at attention to detail, but I have Rebecca, who's always looking after me and looking over me to make sure that I don't make mistakes, and she catches mistakes all the time. So she's more than like a life partner. She's also kind of like my business partner, and she also helps me a lot on the day-to-day operations. When I'm like, could you please oversee this email? Can you look at this pro forma and just let me know that I have everything listed out? Do you see any mistakes? Yes, you double charge this, or no, you have this thing double here. So she's very good at attention to detail, and she helps me. So more than a life partner, she's also a business partner. And I mean, I'm not anyone to give advice on relationships. I've been married for 11 years, but if there's like I said about relationships, is that make sure that you find someone that as a team and they can understand each other, and then you can understand that there's two people, and there's someone who's going to be much better at certain things, and somebody who's not that good, and you have to complement each other. And that's how my relationship has worked, and because of that, I've been able to be successful. And I will always be thankful for the support and trust. Because again, it's not easy. I don't think for a wife, when your husband is going away for 3 weeks to this beautiful the world, to be out until 4 or 5 in the morning in parties.
It takes a certain kind of wife or husband to be able to accept that. So you're really blessed, and thank God for Rebecca, because she seems like a really strong woman.
She's very strong. She's definitely the strongest person I ever met in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I would be very dumb if I ever made a mistake, because I'll be married to her until she takes me. The day that we will not be married is because she say that I don't want to be with you, but I will never ever be or try to be with anyone else, or would want to be with anyone for her.
I don't think she'll say that. You two seem really great together.
If that ever happened, it's gonna be because of her, not because of me.
I think I would lose hope in marriage or relationship if something happened to y'all too, which I don't think would happen. So last question. How does the rest of your 2025 look? Are you going to be producing more events this year?
Yeah, so Richie and I have a great opportunity. We're working right now with a brand that just got acquired by LMVD companies from Leonardo De Vecchio's, which is the owner of Luxottica. Yeah. He acquired 4 clubs, 3 nightclubs and 1 beach club. And we're working together with them to put a series of events and experiences. One of the things that you spoke about during the introduction was about events. I don't like to call them events. I like to call them experiences. Something that we disagree in a lot of things. We're always arguing with each other, that we agree, and it's to make sure that every time we do something together, it's an experience. It has a wow factor. It's not you're just going to an event, there's going to be someone doing a performance, and then you're going to have drinks. No, it has to be something impactful, where everything from the invite, from the moment you come in until the moment you leave, there's something impactful, there's something experiential, there's something that you're going to talk about for years. Mm-hmm. So to bring this business model of what we do into the Twiga brand. It'll be very interesting because they have a location in Monaco. They have a location in Porto Cervo in Sardinia. Mm-hmm. They're opening in Milan, beach club in Monaco as well, and a nightclub, and they have another property in Brasilia. Looking forward to that for the summer. I'm still working with Tech Support, which is the other brand that I work with, where we do house music. And we have a lot of shows that every year we add more shows. The first year I started with them was 2021. We were doing about 8 to 10 shows per year. Right now we're over 50 shows per year. And I think next year is going to be like 70 shows per year. So very excited with that. It's an amazing brand, very driven about the love for music. It's not financially driven. It's literally for the people, so people can go afford and see their favorite DJs in the world. Rob Toma and Mike Vitaco, the owners, they visit Ibiza a lot, and they would like to bring that cultural experience that Ibiza has, where you don't have to go to Ibiza to listen to your favorite DJ. You can come to New York, go to Brooklyn Storehouse, which is the venue, and listen to your favorite DJ at an affordable price, and it's going to be culture driven, and we focus a lot on experiences. And then I have James Vitas, who has been my mentor for the last year, who's been helping me to become a better entrepreneur. We have something that we're working also in the hospitality business, and this is something where it's definitely could turn my career into a very good, positive, different, more of ownership instead of doing consulting. And I'm very happy. I met Mr. Vitas about 2 years ago, and he's been mentoring me and really like showing me a lot of things that I didn't understand of myself. And he's been highlighting it for me and kind of like teaching me through my own actions how to become a better entrepreneur and business person. So 2025, 2026 looks very good. Looking forward to it.
That's amazing. Well, Sebastian, thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
No, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. I always enjoy our conversations.
Yeah.
And I hope the listeners really enjoy this. And if the listeners have any questions about event production, how to visit Colombia, I'll be more than happy to answer. I know it sounds funny and it sounds like, no, he's not going to answer, but like I met very interesting people who I listen to their interviews on YouTube, and I look for them on LinkedIn, and I ask them questions, especially when I was having doubts on I shifted from operations a little bit into, I wanted to get more knowledge on finance, and I didn't know anything about finance. And I started listening to interviews, and I started asking these people questions about finance, and I actually met really nice people who took the time to tell me things. So if you are starting, or if you have questions about shifting your career from operations to event production, or you want to learn more about events or operations, or you want to learn more about Colombia, feel free to find me on LinkedIn, or hopefully if you want to, you can put my email address here, and I'll be more than happy to have a chat, have a conversation, email you back, and whatever I can do to make you better as a person or as a professional, or to increase your professional career, personal life, I'm more than happy to give a little bit.
That's so kind of you. I'll include your LinkedIn and Instagram profile in the podcast episode, so that way people can get in touch with you.
Great. Thank you for having me, Ali. Always a pleasure talking to you.
For me too. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast episode and that you have found a soulful connection to the conversation. God bless you, and until the next episode, go bless somebody else.